Welcome, everyone, to the 2021 State of the City Address presented by our Mayor, Christian Price. I'm Luis Vila, Communications Coordinator for the City of Maricopa. You might remember me from such State of the Cities as the last one. I'm a resident of our growing city, and I absolutely love this community. We have a creative and informative presentation for you this evening. It is my pleasure to host you here at Copper Sky, which at one point was just a part of the people of Maricopa's imagination. At this time, we kindly ask everyone stand and please remove your hats as Boy Scout Troop 389 presents the colors and leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag for the United States of America, and in this republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now to perform our national anthem, please welcome Giselle Diaz.
And
Awesome. You guys are in a clapping mood, but you can be seated. Now I'd like to introduce some special guests that are here with us this evening. Firstly, our Maricopa City Council, Vice Mayor Nancy Smith, Council Member Amber Learman, Council Member Vincent Manfredi, Council Member Bob Marsh, Council Member Rich Vidiello, and Council Member Henry Wade. We'd also like to welcome some additional honored guests in attendance with us as well. Former Mayor Kelly Anderson, MUSD Board Member Tori Anderson, Akchin Vice Chairman Lemuel Vincent, Akchin Council Member Lisa Garcia, members from Senator Kelly's office, Luis Heredia and Taylor Rogers, State Senator Vince Leach, Mayor of Casa Grande, Craig McFarland, City Magistrate and Justice of the Peace Lyle Riggs with his wife, Bien Riggs, former Mayor and County Supervisor Tony Smith, and MUSD Superintendent Dr. Tracy Lopeman. This event would not be possible without the support of our generous sponsors and partners. Thank you to the Maricopa Economic Development Alliance, also known as MEDA, for their continued facilitation of our sponsorships. Their efforts continue to make this event a possibility. Now we would like to recognize all of our gold sponsors and ask them to stand as we honor them. El Dorado Holdings, Global Water Resources, Good Therapy Medical Massage, Commercial Properties, University of Arizona Maricopa Agricultural Center, Junto Technology, Waste Management, Karsten's Ace Hardware, and Thompson Thrift. Next, our silver sponsors, please stand and let our wonderful audience know you're here. Hive Creative Services, Apex Motor Club, Sunland Asphalt and Construction, MUSD 20 Preschool, Fitzgibbons Law Offices, Orbitel Communications, Richmond American Homes, Southwest Gas Corporation, and Electrical District Number 3. And finally, we invite our bronze sponsors to stand as I call out your names. Maricopa Economic Development Alliance, also known as MEDA. Wildcat Landscaping. Rose Law Group. Maricopa Moving Services. Empire West Title Agency. American Family Insurance. Santa Rita Landscaping. La Quinta Inn and Suites by Wyndham Maricopa. The Maricopa Chamber of Commerce. Dignity Health. Great Western Bank. Water and Ice. And Legacy Traditional School Maricopa. Please join me in thanking all of them for helping us put this event together. Our businesses and local organizations have helped our city continue to grow. As always, support local businesses, nonprofits, and organizations in all the ways you are able. The 2021 State of the City is about to begin. I'm pleased to introduce our guide for this evening's program, Mr. Pure Imagination himself, Mayor Christian Price.
What? You look so disappointed. Oh, it's because you thought I was going to do that little flip and roll thing, didn't you? Well, I was going to, but I got this note from our HR chocolate factory and legal, and it said there's something to do with a workman's comp issue, and I couldn't do it, so that's out. All right, well, welcome to tonight's State of the City Address 2021. Thank you for being here. Are you having fun yet? Well, boy, tonight we've been preparing for a long time, and we're excited that you're here. How have you enjoyed the city of Maricopa's first chocolate and candy factory? Not too bad, huh? Now, I know some of you are just here tonight to recognize and learn about some of the myriad of things your city has been up to this year. Some of you have probably heard that this was a pretty hip place to be on a Wednesday night, and that's okay too. But I know the real reason you're here, and that's because it's the free food and chocolate, right? That's what I thought. Okay. Whatever your reason, I know what you're all thinking. Why am I dressed in this ridiculous outfit, right? That's what I thought. Well, it just turns out I'm glad you asked. Because tonight I'm going to share with you a story about a very special moment in time, a place in history where a convergence of both politics and candy aligned just so. So the answer to that question is really simple. It's this guy's fault. This guy right here. Well, that's my grandfather. And he has an interesting story. You see, he grew up right here in the Phoenix area, and he went to law school at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. And after graduating, he went to work as secretary to the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee on Capitol Hill. He also worked as secretary to the National Board of Education, and he knew and worked closely with several U.S. presidents. You could say he was very politically active, but he was mostly behind the scenes. However, when he returned home to Phoenix, this area, he spent an inordinate amount of time here in his private law practice. And he also lobbied on behalf of education at the Arizona State Legislature. You know, back in the days before lobbying was considered a four-letter word. I know you get some lobbyists out there, so you know what I'm talking about. Grandpa, he adored kids in the most innocent way, and he simply wanted to see that our children had the best opportunity for a quality education in our state. He loved doing that by helping on the policy or law-making side. At this time, he even adopted my dad, which rounded out their family of 5. During the time he spent at the legislature, he came to be a very well-known and well-respected man by all who knew him, including both political parties. One day, one of Arizona's retiring governors called him into his office and asked if he wanted to run for the seat, and that, of course, he would have his full support. At that same moment, the leader of the opposition party in the legislature came into the governor's office and stated that he and his party would also support his bid to be governor. Folks, that doesn't happen today at all, and you know that. While, of course, flattered, looking at all the various components of his life, he decided that he could do more to help people directly by doing what he was already doing, continuing on with his work in education along with his extensive pro bono legal services. Now, eventually he retired from public life, but because of all of his efforts on behalf of education in our state, this commissioned painting of him hung in an Arizona education building in downtown Phoenix for almost 40 years. They even named the main conference room after him. He truly was a statesman. Despite all of his actions, experiences, and connections in the political realm, I never knew him like that. Growing up, I only knew him one way. This way. As my grandfather, the Candy Man. You see, since the early 1900s, during all of my time growing up, the Price family tradition was to escape the desert heat and visit a California beach so that we could cool off and unwind. My grandfather was one of those people that everybody loved, not just because he was honest and trustworthy or for a host of other reasons, but rather he was one of those guys that always, and I mean always, had candy with him. He had it in his hands, in his pockets, in his car, even when he was wearing a hat. He would simply lift it up and pull it out and distribute it to all around him. Tucked in his favorite was black licorice, and he always had it tucked away for a special occasion. In fact, wait a second. Let me see here. Wait. I think I have some here myself. There we are. You know, it's always good to have some black licorice on hand. Yeah, I hate black licorice. Okay, back to the story. The only thing I can think of that he loved more than black licorice and candy in general is the look of wonder, awe, and gratitude kids gave him when he shared his candy with them. I know this because I was one of them. Now, you see this right here. I don't know if this will reach. You see that right there? That little bag. That brown bag right there, that was the bag that made him famous, at least in my mind. He always had it with him, and it was always full of every kind of candy you could dream of. And as you can imagine, as the other little kids on the beach around us learned that this family man was giving out candy to all who asked, he suddenly became the most popular guy around. He was literally the very first candy man I ever knew. And for a kid, it was like a dream come true. The second candy man I came to know, about the same time I was cognizant of my grandfather's role in my life, was the emergence of a movie that I immediately came to adore, one that filled my mind with wonder, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. After all, what child does not want to live in an imaginative dream-like reality that produces all the candy one can eat? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, as we know the movie with Gene Wilder today, was written by a British novelist by the name of Roald Dahl. In life, he became famous for his classic children's stories, like James and the Giant Peach, Matilda, and the Fantastic Mr. Fox, just to name a few. So often with life imitating art, or art imitating life, the idea for Mr. Dahl's story of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was born from his childhood days growing up in early 1920s England. You see, as a boy, the country's two largest chocolate company competitors, Cadbury's and Roundtree, were always trying to outdo each other by sending in actual spies to each other's factories, dressed as common employees. in an effort to steal one another's new ideas and secret recipes. Ah, the sheer imaginative ecstasy for a child growing up in this new world of where enormous, awe-inspiring, mass-producing candy machinery existed, where chocolatiers would send large sample packages of candy and chocolate to local school children in exchange for their opinions and feedback. Roald Dahl was literally growing up in a dreamlike world of imaginative confectionery bliss. In the 1971 movie starring Gene Wilder, and not to date many of you here, but that makes this movie 50 years old this year. There are 5 very special, very exclusive golden tickets that are found by random children all over the world. There are 3 from specifically mentioned cities. The 4th is from England, generally. And the 5th, well, the 5th is special. And in my mind, it's special because in the movie, it takes place in a city, but we don't know specifically where. This deliberately nondescript 5th city operates as quote-unquote Anytown, USA, which any young boy or girl might grow up in today. It was purposely made to be a magical place with childlike innocence, filled with mystery and intrigue, but finding that golden ticket meant a world of limitless opportunities. One full of hope, belief, laughter, and the complete fulfillment of all of one's dreams. The golden tickets found in this city are literally saying, we can be anything we dream it to be. Anyone here ever dreamed of finding your very own golden ticket? Sure you have. So tonight, let's make that a reality. For 5 of our audience members. Before we go any further, everybody quickly check underneath your seats and see if you have one of these 5 golden tickets. And if you do, will you come up here, please? I have a little treat for you. You there? There we go. Come on up. Let's see. You got a golden ticket? All right. Let's give them a big round of applause. There's 4 of them. We might have one out there still, but let's see. First, I want to give you one of these.
Thank you.
Take that.
Okay.
And take an everlasting gobstopper while you're at it.
Oh, wow.
Take one of those and a gobstopper. One of these.
Okay.
And one of those. We'll save for the 5th for later. Now, before we go, can all of you see that? Would one of you do me a favor and read that out loud? Would you read that?
Sure. It is not that the child lives in the world of imagination, but that the child within us survives and starts into life only at rare moments of recollection, which makes us believe once again.
Thank you very much. Now, you only just got up here. Oh, there you are. Thank you. Now, you just got here tonight, but are you starting to believe yet? Yes, thank you. You may be seated. Okay. Now, this is where our story begins tonight. I'd like each of you to do something for me. I want you to try as hard as you can to remember what it was like to be a child. The innocence, to have all the hopes and dreams of a big new world ahead of you, a world of wonder that inspired you, a world devoid of cynicism and disbelief, and where only the possibilities of achievement and success existed. Now, hold your breath, make a wish, count to 3, and let me take you back to this time in your life. But first, may I remind you that if you want to view paradise all around you, then come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. And maybe, just maybe, when you were growing up, it looked a little something like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the chocolate room. Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it.
Hurry up, Violet!
This way, Grandpa.
As a child, oh, how I imagined what that would have been like to win that golden ticket and experience that place. In that scene, to see children, both young and old, enter a reality that was previously only possible in their dreams. And yet somehow, somewhere, they always knew it could be done. They just forgot for a time. In their grown-up world, they forgot what was possible until they saw it, until they experienced it. The dreams they once had were reborn, and they became their reality. Tonight, we have created Maricopa's very own, very first chocolate factory. And while I very much hope you're enjoying it, I'm going to need your help tonight. In an audience primarily of adults and some children, I need you to remember what it was like to look at the world, at your city, through the wonder and amazement of an innocent child's eyes, believing once again that all things are possible if we but dare to dream them and never give up working towards them. So, open up your minds with me to the possibility what Maricopa can become. Remember, before today, Copper Sky was just a park, and today it's a chocolate factory. It may not have existed yesterday, but Maricopa, the Maricopa we are dreaming of, can and will become a reality. Now, wait. Would you look at who wrote this speech anyways? All right, forget it. I know some of you are not going to believe us or believe me, but perhaps it's only because I'm wearing this funny coat and this hat. So maybe I can help persuade you, or my little friends can help persuade you.
Doopity-doo, I've got a perfect puzzle for you. Oompa loompa doopity-dee. If you are wise, you'll listen to me. What do you get when you have a great team? Building as much as a city can dream. Living in Copa is where it is at. Can't wait to see what will come of that. We all love the look of it. Oompa loompa doopity-da. If you imagine, you will go far. You will live in happiness too, like the Oompa loompa doopity-doo.
They're marvelous, aren't they? My little Oompa Loompas from the Willy Wonka Jr. cast at Legacy Traditional School. Now, who wouldn't believe them? Adieu, adieu, parting is such sweet sorrow. Thank you, my dear. Unlike the Oompa Loompas in the movie, These little Oompa Loompas are growing up fast, and they're going to need a place to live. And that's pretty convenient, because if you may have noticed, Maricopa is growing up fast too. In fact, we turned 18 years old this year. When each of you passed through our scrumdiddlyumptious food stations this evening, you were all given an exclusive golden ticket, magnificently imprinted on your souvenir mug. I can assure you that that golden ticket is one of the most highly sought after treasures in the world today. And it's not the actual ticket or the mug, but the opportunities and the fulfilling of dreams that that golden ticket represents here in the city of Maricopa. Let me explain. First of all, we did this little thing called a census in 2020, and our official number for this past year was 58,125. Not too bad, and we'll take it. So officially, I'd like to welcome you to the largest incorporated city in Pinal County now. Congratulations. But let me show you some other numbers that the larger nationwide census can't show you. Well, while we respect the official census numbers here, yet as a city, we have to plan for real growth and infrastructure based on a variety of numbers. We also believe that due to the pandemic, that many people weren't properly counted. We know for sure in the city of Maricopa, houses haven't stopped being built, and people from all over the country haven't stopped moving here. So let me show you another set of numbers we use to help plan for growth. If you look on this slide, between 2015 and 2021, you'll see a list of single-family housing permits that have been completed each and every year. That equates to approximately 7,094 homes. If you take out the 347 from 2015, and you do that because we did a special census in 2015, that means that we actually are counting 6,747 or 6,470, 74.7, sorry homes, I can't talk tonight, and at times it by 3.24 people, that means that that's a 21,860 new people that have moved to Maricopa. So if you take the 2015 census at 48.2 plus 21,860, that means that we have roughly 70,060 people in the city of Maricopa. Pretty amazing. Now, with new people and homes comes new everything else. It's true that growth means change from what we are traditionally used to, and it also presents us with new challenges as well. But it also means greater prosperity for our residents as a whole. It means a better quality of life, new businesses, new industry, and new jobs, all locating here, as well as new and improved infrastructure everywhere we look. My friends, let me issue my one word of caution here tonight. Please do not buy into the false narrative that is circulating on some social media discussion groups that somehow stopping or slowing growth in our city would be good. It would not. And I'm going to explain why. You see, our phenomenal growth is directly helping our business community that have for years taken a chance on Maricopa. And now it's their turn to have an ever larger number of people with expendable dollars patronizing their specific goods and services. After limited real estate options, expensive 347 frontage real estate space, smaller numbers of people to sell to, an 8-year recession beginning just after our incorporation, and then weathering a worldwide pandemic, it's finally time for our Maricopa businesses to get a win. Through all of the challenges and hardships they have endured, they are only now feeling the sense of accomplishment that comes from perseverance, commitment, hard work, creative thinking, and not giving up no matter the odds. They are finally enjoying the rewards of their own coveted golden ticket. To verify this, let's hear from small business owner Tanya Thompson, who owns the local water and ice store here in town. And let's get her take on things.
Maricopa, proud history, prosperous future. Some prospective business owners say it's their golden ticket to a life of prosperity. And we're with Councilmember Wade and Councilmember Vitiello to speak with one of those fortunate individuals.
Well, good morning, Maricopa. I'm Councilmember Henry Wade, City of Maricopa. I'm here today with Councilmember Rich Vitiello, and we are with Tanya Thompson, the owner of Water and Ice. Tanya, tell me, what makes Maricopa your golden ticket?
Well, what makes Maricopa my golden ticket is, first of all, Maricopa is my hometown. I grew up out here. And so I wanted to be able to offer a business that took people back down memory lane by offering the nostalgic candy the thrifty ice cream that everyone knows and loves, that they grew up with, and just be able to offer a place that people can come in, feel good, laugh, have some smiles, and then just a chance for me to give back to such this amazing community that's always giving back to us.
Excellent.
So since moving here in 2004 as in Water and Ice, what challenges have you had to overcome, and how did you overcome those?
Oh my goodness, there have been so many challenges, as any business owner knows. The first one with the housing market crash, that was very tough to get through. And then just recently, COVID was very tough to get through. So there's been many challenges, many struggles, many obstacles, but the way we overcame them is having a community that supported us from day one and was always there for us through our struggles, as well as my amazing staff who has always been there and supported me along the way. And I have wonderful family and friends that have been a great support system. And so I couldn't have gotten through any of those challenges without any of them.
Fantastic.
Well, Tanya, this is a wonderful place, and you're a wonderful owner, so it makes it easy to come. Tell me, is there anything else that you'd like to offer to the community? Anything else you'd like to say?
Well, so we are going to continually evolving. We are going to continue growing. We want to be bringing in new products. We're continually upgrading our RO system so that we always have plenty of water to offer our community as it grows. And we just want to continue to be a fun, friendly place for people to come. And I just want to say thank you to this amazing community. They have been so wonderful, so supportive. Thank you to my staff. Thank you to my friends and family. This is my hometown that I love and embrace, and I just watch it grow, and I love every minute of it.
Well, from the community, we say thank you, Tanya. It's a wonderful place. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Small businesses like Tanya's are the lifeblood of any community. Businesses like hers create a symbiotic relationship in which more people can utilize her goods and services, and she can profit as a business. It's a win-win. In a recent interview with a Golden Corridor Living publication, she was further quoted as saying, "There are so many keys to success that play a role, including hard work, never giving up, and always evolving." Let me repeat that. Always evolving. I love that. This is no different for our city. We cannot stay the status quo and hope for something different when it comes to roadways and businesses. Thus, the growth and evolution is good for the citizens and businesses alike. Another often overlooked fact is that our overall growth as a city not only leads to more happy citizens, it also lessens the governmental hit to the individual property owners through what are called primary and secondary property taxes. You see, as our retail sector grows and people shop locally, when they buy things that they want, they pay a nominal sales tax on that item. The sales tax then provides an offsetting revenue for your city, your county, and your state, which also touches a different group of people, a group that aren't just property owners. The sales tax also captures people that visit or pass through our city on a regular basis. When they stop to buy gas, get a drink, dine at a restaurant, go to our stores, stay at our hotel, etc., they in effect help pay our bills and lower our local tax burden to each of us if we continue to provide services and amenities that they want to come to Maricopa to utilize. Since taking office in 2012, the city has almost tripled the amount of sales tax revenue that it takes in because of our robust economic development thrust. This effort helped provide a subsequent expansion of stores and retail locations that did not previously exist in Maricopa. In fact, did you know that in the past 4 years alone, our city has added 1.68 million square feet of new retail and commercial space? That's incredible. This commercial expansion diversifies business offerings, helps with overall competition, and helps drive down rental space prices, all the while providing more choice for our citizens to shop locally. With more businesses that locate here, we as a city council can continue lowering property taxes. As property taxes go lower in our city, it helps convince new businesses who are looking for the next place where they might want to locate and make money. And we want that to be right here. Of course, I did not do this alone, but rather it has been a team effort. Through careful spending and saving measures by your city staff and city council, also our partners in this process, so businesses who go through the difficulties of opening a business and paying taxes and providing needed services, all of this and more has allowed the city council to continue lowering the overall property tax rate in our city. And it is our goal to do this each and every year. So let me show you what the growth of our city in people, homes, and businesses means to you. First and foremost, it means lower taxes for all of us. So I'd like to report on our record of doing just this. Out of the past 9 years that I've been your mayor, myself, and your city council, for 1 year, we held the rate steady in order to make up for leftover problems that we still faced from the Great Recession. For 1 year, we lowered your primary rate, but temporarily raised your secondary in a wise financial move that allowed us to make a one-time balloon payment that saved all of us here almost $2 million. And it will help end the bond on this place, Copper Sky, early, saving us even more money. As for the other 7 years, well, we have lowered a mixture of your primary and secondary property taxes each and every one of those years. Once again, it is the goal of the city. Thank you. It is the goal of this city council to keep growing the overall revenue pie, but shrinking your overall tax burden. And I'm going to say it again. Growth in the city of Maricopa is a win-win for everyone who lives or does business in this city. Now, after all that talk of money management, this is definitely the quote that comes to mind. And yes, we are having fun and we must press on. So while lowering taxes is great, it can be a tricky situation to both take away revenues and increase services. After all, services cost money, right? So your city staff and our city manager are always on the lookout for ways in which we can find savings or efficiencies inside our daily operations in order to add something that you might want. After saying for years we would not be able to access the 2008 bond for any more money to build a new library, yet clearly understanding the need, we were able to rearrange our capital improvements plan and through our regular budget process, pay cash for the newly opened 27,000 square foot Maricopa Library and Cultural Center. With lots of space and meeting rooms and of course lots more room for books and other activities, we fully expect this facility to carry us forward for years into the future. But we also recognize and embrace and plan for our rapid growth. So just in case we outgrow this current footprint sooner than expected, we built this location with the possibility in mind, and therefore by allowing for a potential expansion onto the existing facility of thousands of more square feet of space when that day actually comes. With the new library and cultural center up and running, the old library, or what we now call the Maricopa Community Center, is the old shell of which, located on Smith Inc., was remodeled for other badly needed purposes. Once again, looking for maximum efficiency, we took this space and remodeled it into 3 different spaces. Number 1, we've modeled it into a veterans area for our veterans community to have a space of their own that is newer and lower maintenance than their last location. Number 2, a senior center, a space for seniors that they can call their own, host events, play games, stage classes, and so much more. And number 3, a public meeting space that is open to all and can be used for weddings, classes, enrichment, music performances, art, and so much more. Also, all 3 of these spaces can expand or contract as needed, and this flexibility will go a long way to helping so many different segments of our population accomplish their goals, and do it in a way that is collaborative and cost-effective. Furthering the mission of repurposing assets, after moving our veterans to their new location, we began a remodel of the old Veterans Center. And if you're keeping track, this is what we call our old library. Okay, so make this into a place that the Maricopa Historical Society can utilize and showcase Maricopa's proud history. There you go. As many of you know, the area shown here is one we affectionately call our Heritage District. And in the last few years, we have pledged to help clean up and beautify this area. Well, we have done just that. And we are continuing to do so today. With new roadways, new street names, new sidewalks, new fences, new tree planters, new flowers, new amenities, and even a new and improved Heritage District Park, we have even more to do in the coming months and years ahead. But we are fulfilling our promises to this beautiful area of our city, and we thank our residents and these neighborhoods for all of their help and patience in this time. Something I reported to you on last year was about the progress we were making regarding our local post office. You may recall this. Working together, we, the city, paved a pullout and installed new solar lighting for the new drop-off blue boxes right near the post office. And while we are still working on getting more blue boxes stationed around town, we were successful in working with Congressman O'Halloran's office and our local Postmaster General to get Maricopa's first new retail post office location in over 30 years placed in our new library. Now, technically, it's called a contracted postal unit. Apparently, the feds don't like it when you call it a post office, but you get it. You can mail stuff from there, okay? This new satellite location will service primarily the east side of our city, but we'll also have different times and days that it will be open. This will help add additional convenience to all of our citizens, especially around the holidays. You may have also noticed something new and colorful around town lately. That would be Maricopa's very first large-scale public art project entitled Wild Horses. And as an homage to the horses, or wild horses, that run free on the neighboring Gila River Indian community just to the north of us, we understand the critical nature that public displays of art provide in a city to help create a sense of place and make a city or town unique in its own right. To encourage its creation, the city partnered with local artists and business owners alike to jumpstart this program. The city initially funded the Raw Horse cast. Then our Citizens Art Commission, or committee, selected the best designs from the total submittals to move forward. Then interested citizens, business groups, and businesses paid for and sponsored a horse with an artist and design of their choosing, thus allowing all of the taxpayers' initial startup money to be refunded and the artist to be compensated. Then each of the horses were strategically placed around the city and installed by the city streets crews. And if that wasn't enough, all extra monies from the project are being held in trust as seed money for the next public art collaborative. As we begin the next phase of this project, I hope that you will help us by sponsoring or painting a horse and helping us grow our herd of wild horses around Maricopa for all to enjoy. Changing gears for just a minute, with the amount of building going on in Maricopa every day, myself and council members are constantly asked, what is being built? Well, this is easy. So I wanted you to all know about the website that the city maintains and updates regularly. Write it down, put it in your phones. It's called www.whatsnewmaricopa.com. This site has just about everything you could ever want to know regarding commercial development, residential development, and streets improvements going on anywhere in our city at any given time. In a long line of firsts happening in our city and quickly on its way to completion is Maricopa's very first hospital, the new Exceptional Healthcare Hospital. This 20,000 square foot, we're very excited about it. This 20,000 square foot, $18 million phase one operation will provide much needed services and employ approximately 60 to 100 new people. Not only will this facility provide life-saving critical care without having to leave the city, but they will do it in style and comfort, changing the traditional expectations of a hospital setting. From the purchase of local artwork from Maricopa artists that will adorn its walls, to inpatient rooms that will each have accommodations for a family member to stay the night. Every patient will have a high-level concierge-style service that includes complimentary toiletries and home-style comforts, such as slippers and bathrobes. Now, I don't know about you, but I am suddenly thinking about some very unnecessary procedures that I need to get done right now just so I can book a room at this place. That's pretty cool. As construction completes, we are excited for their opening come mid-2022. To Exceptional Healthcare, I say, welcome to Maricopa, and we look forward to your additional phasing and expansion in the near future. We've recently had another big win with the building of the Sonoran Creek Marketplace and the various stores and retailers that will soon be occupying space in that retail center. All market locations like this need a powerhouse anchor store, and as each of you know, this key tenant is none other than Sprouts Farmers Market. And while I love our Sprouts and certainly appreciate the need that this special grocery store fills in our community, I love nothing more than to hear members of the Goodyear, Buckeye, Casa Grande City Councils come up to me and state unequivocally, "I'm so jealous you got a Sprouts. I've been wanting one forever, and we've been trying to get a Sprouts for years now and just haven't gotten one." Well, of course, I want them to share in the success that we are experiencing, and it makes me feel really good about our development possibilities as a city, both present and future. Remember, folks, the development community talks all about the good and the bad experiences they have. So let's hear from Mr. Andrew Call from Thompson Thrift, the developer of the Sonoran Creek Marketplace, and see what he has to say about Sprouts and what they are seeing with their very own Maricopa's Golden Ticket.
And that's the biggest update we have regarding the 347 in recent memory. Now back to our top story. The excitement surrounding the golden tickets has been electrifying our community. We're live with our next golden ticket recipient with Councilmember Marsh and Vice Mayor Spith to speak with this lucky individual.
Thank you. Hey, we did find the golden ticket winner. This is Andy Call from Thompson Thrift. And Andy, we're so excited for you. Congratulations. How does it feel to be a finder of the golden ticket?
It feels amazing. I mean, as you can see here, we have a great project that we worked on and completed. In addition to these great tenants and this great project, we did an economic study, and it's $25 million impact to this area during construction. After construction, another $26 million impact over the next several years. So if that's not a golden ticket, I don't know what is.
Absolutely.
So here at Sonora Creek, what challenges have you faced, and how did you overcome them?
These type of projects have a lot of different challenges and problems you run into, but one of the primary problems we hit was Sprouts, along with a few other tenants, wanted to be open. They had to be open by a certain time. After reviewing our schedule, meeting with our contractors, architects, and engineers, we came and met with the city. The city came to the table with a lot of solutions. They expedited our review. They streamlined the process. Without the city's partnership, we would not be here today.
Well, that is very exciting, and we're excited about this project, but tell us about your future plans.
Yeah, I mean, here at Sonoran Creek, we have a phase 2. So just next to Sprouts, we're going to have another anchor tenant. And then over here, we're also going to have another multi-tenant building with several restaurants. In addition to Sonoran Creek, we're always looking for new opportunities. And down here in City of Maricopa, we'd love to partner with you again on more projects.
Well, we love having you here. And congratulations on finding that golden ticket.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And back to you.
We are indeed thankful to Andrew and all of our local businesses who have made huge investments in Maricopa, and we wish them nothing but the best moving forward. But speaking of moving forward, one of the biggest complaints I regularly hear from people is the issue of infrastructure. And while infrastructure means many things to many people, in Maricopa, in most people's minds, infrastructure means transportation and roadways. So let's talk about some of the transportation projects that have been completed this year, for example. So I'm going to run through a few. Farrell Road has recently been paved between Hartman and White and Parker. Hartman Road has been paved from Honeycutt to Maricopa Casa Grande Highway. The section of Maricopa Casa Grande Highway, it's a beautification project. That section of Maricopa Casa Grande Highway between Porter and just west of Stonegate Road has received median improvements for both safety and aesthetic purposes. Heritage Road in Cesar Chavez has been overlaid with flat ribbon curbing. Edison Road has had improvements and widening going into the Sprouts area and has been completed as well. Wilson Road improvements in support of the new county courthouse and complex has also been completed. Now, of course, these are just a few of the roadway improvements that have been done this year, but we have so many more on the way. But let me remind you of something. Paving roads isn't as easy as simply pointing out a less than stellar roadway and saying that we'd like to have that fixed. And abracadabra, it's done. Doesn't work that way. No, we have to live within our budget. Roads are very expensive, and we have to go through a time-consuming process of design and right-of-way acquisition, engineering. Then we have to pay for the construction and for the labor and for the materials. And the longer all of these take, the more it costs each of us. You see, we have to live within our budget. So while we all want better roads yesterday, I would encourage us all to be a little more understanding of how the road creation and construction process works. Those of you who know me know I do my best to explain the process of building roads and businesses, but sometimes there are those out there who are just a little less than patient. And I can't help but think of this funny video.
All right, where is it? Why haven't they found it?
Veruca, sweetheart, I'm not a magician. Give me time.
I want it now. What's the matter with those clocks out there? Don't care how. I want it now. Don't care how. I want it now.
I know none of you have ever said that. And I know that none of you are like our dear friend Veruca there. But I do have a little secret for you. We have even more exciting roadway projects to tell you about tonight. So hang on. This year, as part of the American Rescue Act, the city received $6 million from the federal government through what had been originally told, even though we had been originally told that it was supposed to be $12 million plus. Sadly, we were one of about 13 cities that this formulaic snafu happened to. And because of differences in federal distribution formulas, we ended up with 6. But that's okay. Nevertheless, we went to work on how to find the best way to benefit the most people with this money. And we figured it was to invest in our infrastructure needs. And so it will go into a variety of projects that will help us meet the needs of our growth. One of these projects is what is called the Porter Road Bridge. This one, preliminary engineering and design is currently underway, and construction should be completed in approximately 16 to 18 months at a cost of about $10 million. The complete project cost for the bridge and the road that attaches to it is a total project cost of $23 million. So you can clearly see these are not cheap. Garvey Avenue and Wilson improvements. We'll be improving this roadway with new pavement and curb and gutter. Another project that is critical to more efficient and effective movement of traffic is to help add fixes to one of our busiest intersections, Smith Inc. and the 347. This year, you will see some of the biggest fixes that will help your daily commute and usage of this intersection. On Smith Inc., headed west, there will be 2 dedicated left-hand turn lanes southbound. We will be adding a dedicated right-hand turn lane that won't have to stop as you head west, but are turning northbound. Then this will merge into the newly paved 3rd lane on the 347 from Smith Inc. until we reach the Gila River Indian Community. Then, on Lakeview Road, leaving Rancho El Dorado and turning north, we will be widening the bridge and making a dedicated right-hand turn lane there as well that will merge onto the 347 northbound. Another major roadway addition coming to the area is what we call the East-West Corridor. This is a critical alternative way in and out of Maricopa, and it is made possible in part by $70 million from voter-approved Propositions 416 and 417. The city of Maricopa is going to start on our portion of the improvements now, in preparation for the overall project, as the rest of the money becomes available. Check it out.
Good morning, everybody. Luis Vila, Communications Coordinator for the City of Maricopa. I'm here in front of Maricopa Casa Grande Highway, here to talk about a project you may not have heard of. This is the East-West Corridor project currently underway, and I'm here with City Engineer Eduardo Rodales to give us a little more insight on this project.
The East-West Corridor is a project that has been under study for several years. The county found out that there's a tremendous growth that's coming for the city of Maricopa and the city of Casa Grande. in the next 20 years, and there was a need for transportation to connect these two cities in the I-10. And the result of this study is a parkway that will consist of 4 lanes initially and might be expanded in the future to more lanes if needed. This parkway will connect 347 to the city of Casa Grande and I-10. This parkway will also give the city of Maricopa another entrance to the city. Right now, most of the people travel 347, and unfortunately, the city of Maricopa does not have control on 347. However, the city knows that there is more need for the people and for the commerce and the trucks to be able to come into Maricopa, and that's the reason Pinal County, with the city, has been working on this parkway, and will start construction first quarter of next year, and will most probably end in the next 18 months. The project is going to be divided in 10 phases. The city of Maricopa will build the first 2 phases, which is called phase 3 and 4. Additionally, the city will build improvements and a bridge on Porter Road as part of this east-west corridor.
Besides providing access and another entrance to our city, what other benefits will this corridor have?
If you want to bring prosperity to a place, you need to build roads. Commerce will come once we have adequate transportation into the city and out of the city. So this will bring jobs to the people. This will bring also not only a better way to get into Maricopa for the residents, but also for all trucks that want to enter the city and deliver their goods.
That's another incredible development happening in our community. For more information and topics like these, please visit what'snewmaricopa.com.
Now, on the west side of town, we will also see 238 widened and improved, curb and gutter and sidewalks from Loma Road to Costa Brava, and 2 other major infrastructure projects that will help us move traffic around the city that are not ready for construction yet, but work is being done on them right now in order to make them a reality. Are, number 1, another new overpass, smaller in scope and size than the one on the 347, but just as critical to moving traffic northward and off the 347. This is called the Green Road Overpass, and it will be on our west side of the city along the Green Road alignment. And number 2 is something we are calling Maricopa's first outer loop road. While we have a smaller inner loop road, this would be the first to potentially be on Gila River Indian Community land. And it will allow for additional thoroughfares and connection points that have been unable and not allowed to be installed thus far, due to it being on sovereign Gila River land. While we would like to see more byways like this, if allowed, but we must be successful in this negotiation before others can even be discussed. While there is nothing guaranteed at this time, we are working very closely with our tribal neighbors, and at this moment, things are looking bright. So we will definitely keep you apprised or posted on how the possibilities of this project progress. And finally, let me give you an update on something we all dearly love. The 347. Let me hear it out there. There we go. I heard some boos in there too. I don't care what you give me. All right. This is something everybody thinks about when they live in Maricopa. Me too. As it goes through the entire Gila River Indian community. As I have reported on this topic repeatedly over the years, this roadway is our greatest challenge, as we, the city, do not control any of it. 0. Yet, we know it is owned and operated by the Arizona Department of Transportation, or ADOT, and that's done at the state level. It runs the length of the Gila River Indian community, as I said, and it crosses 2 counties and multiple taxing jurisdictions. So with so many stakeholders involved, it can be terribly, terribly difficult to make any headway. But I am happy to report to you tonight that we are making enormous strides on this roadway to make it an actual reality, and to make it the reality we want. As I've said for years now, there are 3 major fixes involved in this roadway. First, we know that 347 must be widened from the city of Maricopa all the way to I-10. We know it needs to have better ways for left-hand turns and an overpass at Riggs Road. We also know that it needs a reconfiguration of the current traffic interchange at 347 and Queen Creek Boulevard at the I-10. While construction may not have started yet on this project, and even though we all wanted it done yesterday, we truly are making leaps and bounds when it comes to progress. And here's why. Let me explain just a little bit. This year, after spending years of building relationships and explaining the needs that exist on this roadway to our friends and neighbors, the Gila River Indian Community, ADOT, and many others, Gila River recently sent a letter with their signature and those of ADOT and MAG to us, the governor, and all of our congressional delegation, explaining that the previously aforementioned fixes are one of their top 4 transportation priorities for the tribe, and they want to help get it done. Folks, I cannot tell you how monumental this is. This is a huge step in creating a partnership that can now move this transportation project forward through Gila River's privately held right-of-ways. Simultaneously, we, the city, have been preparing and raising money for the project. So far, we have gathered $1 million from the city of Maricopa. Remember, this road isn't even in our boundaries, right? It's outside of us. And yet, it's so important that we are willing to give that and more as needed. But we're still willing to give even more, and there is also $30 million from the 2017 Pinal County Transportation Proposition 416-417. Additionally, this year, we were awarded $35 million for an overpass at Riggs Road by the Arizona State Legislature through the Arizona State budget. Many thanks go to Representative Brett Roberts and Senator Vince Leach, who primarily carried the water on this to help it cross the finish line. Finally, it's also important to note that Maricopa County is going to vote to reauthorize their own half-cent sales tax dedicated to transportation, which includes, hear me now, includes $90 million for the northern portion of 347, widening and traffic interchange. In addition, also, there is another $130 million for I-10 widening that will address the roadway as it approaches the Queen Creek traffic interchange. So if I'm doing my math right, we currently have approximately now $66 million allocated, with potentially 90 more to come from Maricopa County's Proposition 400 reauth, and thus potentially totaling $156 million towards a project that will cost upwards of $200 to $250 million. So while we aren't there yet, we are making huge progress towards this goal. It's happening. Another step that brings this particular project closer to reality is what we call a scoping study. You see, you can't start building a roadway when you don't know the best solutions to present, and if all of the stakeholders involved will approve those particular solutions. So you have to do what's called a scoping study, which is also, by the way, now complete. Then the process goes through a review and a public comment period. But it's really important to note on this that Gila River Indian Community has also reviewed it, and they have given their blessing to the fixes I'm going to show you behind me. They have also agreed that corridor widening, a 6-lane Arizona Parkway concept, is needed. That widening of I-10 and creating a diverging diamond interchange consistent with the I-10 DCR concept is important to have. And that Riggs Road needs a grade separation. And that at the cement plant and Casablanca roads, that there need to be, in coordination with the Arizona Parkway concept, indirect left-hand turns. So you can see we are moving in the right direction, despite the process being painfully slow and cumbersome, at least for the average person. Hope is truly on the horizon as we look to seeing this roadway completed in the near future. I assure you today that we, the city of Maricopa, will never stop working on this until we see it through to completion. We will keep you posted and updated on all of the happenings on this roadway as they transpire. Now, The Porter Road Bridge is not the only bridge built this year or going to be built this year. We are finally making headway on the long-awaited pedestrian bridge or crossing that will help connect foot traffic on both sides of the railroad tracks after the completed 347 overpass interrupted that. So while we had to be sure on how this fix would fit into the designs of the surrounding area, and these types of bridges, of course, are not cheap, we found that we could finally find some money if we looked into an old restricted Union Pacific grant money that would allow for the construction of this brand new amenity to the area. And guess what? It's going to be done this year. Now, if you think that with all this new growth and infrastructure going in and around the city, and with even more to come, that somehow we, the city, are not paying attention or participating in the planning process for it, well, guess what? Think again. In fact, just so you know how dedicated we are to this effort, we recently created a new department inside City Hall to add extra focus to it. It's called the new CIP, which stands for Capital Improvement Projects, or CIP Engineering Department. This department will specialize in being responsible for the designs and construction of most of the city's capital projects. Those things include things like streets, bridges, parks and trails, buildings, stormwater, and other critical infrastructure. They will also review and permit plans for all private development projects within the city. And while the city has always had engineers and CIP managers spread across the various city departments that would help plan and move these projects forward, by reorganizing this department under one department director, it will bring an even greater focus on efficiency and efficacy on the many city projects that are in various stages of planning and action. This will ultimately fulfill the city's strategic infrastructure, and all this will be done while innovating new development strategies for future growth and infrastructure planning. Invention, my friends, is 93% perspiration, 6% electricity, 4% evaporation, and 2% butterscotch triple. Yes, that's 105%, folks. So while I agree it's sometimes that 2% butterscotch ripple that is just enough to give it that little extra kick, it is the concerted effort of those who believe it can happen that help invent tomorrow. In case I haven't told you this yet, earlier this year, your city council and senior city staff sat down for an all-day summit to spend a day in pure imagination. Our goal was to literally reimagine every single part of our city with guidance from the citizen-led 2040 vision document. From infrastructure to living accommodations to retail to industry to jobs to tourism and so much more. You name it, we conceived of it. We dreamed it and then proceeded to do all in our power to put the foundations of this plan in place. Now, of course, we don't have complete control over every moving piece out there. But I believe that every member of your city council and our city staff continue to subscribe to this philosophy espoused by none other than Steve Jobs. When he said, let's go invent tomorrow rather than worrying about what happened yesterday. To that end, I am confident that if we as a citizenry collectively believe that by putting our vision, our desires, our efforts, our policies, our successes, our dreams out there for all the world to see, we will witness an increase in businesses, industry, jobs, and infrastructure. And guess what? I believe we are seeing this happen right now. Let me explain. You see, last year I showed you a picture or the cover of a Business View magazine, a national business magazine that reports on cities across the country, and it tells their stories. They were so impressed by our story of not only surviving the pandemic, but actually thriving in it, they put us on the front cover. Now, usually that would be enough to move on to other cities to talk about, and not even think about revisiting our city for another several years for a story. However, in our case, they continued to be so impressed with us and our growth and our strategies and our efforts that they returned again this year and did another feature story on us. In fact, their opening paragraph, they even mention our State of the City addresses. So you got to be happy about that, or at least I do. Well, just kidding. Okay, I mention this national acknowledgement because it brings attention and recognition to us in a way that we've never had before. It also gets the notice of site selectors. Now, if you don't know what a site selector is, let me tell you. It's a firm hired by a sizable company to go out and do the research on every state and city in America. Upon doing that research, they are charged with bringing back several preferred recommendations. And these recommendations must meet the company's criteria as to where they might like to further investigate, where they'd like to locate their new enterprise, their new expansion, new manufacturing, new offices, or new headquarters. And folks, it's pretty simple. If you are not on the site selector's preferred shortlist presented to the company's board of directors, well then you're not on the list for selection. Site selectors have a big job to do, and their reputation and jobs are on the line every single time. So they go through lots of due diligence before making any recommendations. They ask lots of questions, and they want to know that as many of the lands or locations challenges have been worked out long before they ever present their findings. So I wanted to share with you, in part, why Maricopa is now finding its way onto those short lists provided by many of these site selectors. You see, over the years, we've been building the foundations of our city for the day in which Maricopa would be primed and ready for these recommendations. And folks, it's happening right now. Here in Maricopa, we are experiencing a renaissance, a rebirthing of sorts, where we are going from just a location of housing to one of becoming a sustainable, self-containing economy. And while it will take years to achieve the outcomes we are ultimately working towards, it has to start somewhere. And you all here tonight are literally part of this history in the making. Every day, new retail options are popping up and either investigating their possibilities here or are actually opening their doors. Soon, we will have more restaurants, both fast casual and sit down, than ever before. In fact, options like the new cold beer and cheeseburgers that's coming, and a new place that you've probably heard of called Slim Chickens. Now, remember, 2 years ago, all you folks out there wanted a chicken place. I know you did, because you all told me, okay? But here's the thing to pay attention to. This particular location is born out of the Apex Motorsports racetrack being here. That's right. Because the owner is a member of Apex, and as such, he now frequents Maricopa, he also owns the Burger King that's doing so darn well, he wants to put up another. Okay? Success perpetuates success. And there are many other restaurants and that span the gamut of chain, mom and pops, and award-winning specialty restaurants that are soon to be announced here in the city. Another business that has seen the light of Maricopa's prosperity and came ready to help it progress into our next phase of growth are the owners of the new La Quinta Inn and Suites Hotel. Andy Bakta and his partners are not only reviving the hotel industry that has not had an official presence in the city limits for almost a century now, but at the same time, they are also helping to revive an industry that we have almost never had, that of tourism. You see, in today's partnership with our friends and neighbors, the Ak-Chin Indian community, we are finding multiple ways to cross-promote one another's events upon building upon one another's successes. We are inherently tied to each other anyways, but by working together, we are helping to fill each other's hotels, restaurants, and attractions. Already, my friend Chairman Robert Miguel is asking when we're getting another hotel, as both of our hotels are finding themselves completely booked. After so much one-time local criticism that a hotel would never survive here in Maricopa, I must say that is a wonderful problem to have. And guess what? It also means that more hotels are on the way. Now, whether it's another hotel or anything else, one of the key ingredients in making anything, even chocolate or candy, for example, is water. Water is one of the most basic commodities, but is one of the most complex and difficult topics to address in a desert. We could talk all day just on water, but I wanted to address some concerns that you and sometimes our site selectors have when they inquire about coming to Arizona or specifically Maricopa. They ask this really key question: is there enough water? As you may have heard recently in the news, the federal government has officially declared a shortage of water on the Colorado River. Arizona, along with many other basin states, we get water from the Colorado River for a variety of uses. But in Arizona, we also get water from the ground, though we try to minimize that usage because it can be much harder to replace. This is why Arizona likes to use what is called surface water as much as possible. Surface water is replaced every year by snowmelt and rain. But with the past years of drought, we have not had as much snow, so that means less water on the river. It also means that farmers in our state that use Colorado River water will get less to use until things change. And while not pleasant, they too have been planning for this for years and making changes to the way they farm. With all of that said, it really is important to hear what I'm about to say. Knowing that one day all of this would occur, Maricopa's water provider, Global Water, and the city of Maricopa and the state of Arizona have been planning for this moment as well. Which means that the city of Maricopa is uniquely positioned, unlike most other places in Pinal County, to have water for our current existing users and to have capacity for our continued growth. They also have planned on how to have and protect that water for all of these users for the next 100 years and beyond. So you see that Global has two things that make our city unique. One is called an assured water supply. With approximately 23,000 homes and businesses here in Maricopa, we currently use less than 1/3 of that allotment. That means that we still have 2/3 of capacity that can handle just about any and all growth that gets thrown at it. And of course, that doesn't mean we can use it foolishly. But number two, it's because of Global's planning ahead that almost every building, industry, home or business in the city of Maricopa has what's called a purple pipe attached to it. This purple pipe carries used water back to a state-of-the-art recycling facility. And this means that every time water is used by you or a business in any capacity in our city, 70 to 90% of that water is recycled and used to recharge the aquifer or water the landscape. That means less water utilized overall, even with our continued growth. So let me say this as plainly as possible. Water is, of course, one of our most precious resources, but Maricopa has water like no other city in Pinal County, and we are sustainable and open for business. Now, as many of you know, not only do we live in an incredible city, but we also live in one of the safest cities in the state. Depending on which reporting agency you look at, we are typically between 3rd and 6th. Not too bad, especially out of 91 cities and towns in Arizona. But to maintain that standard, we are going to need to evolve and expand once again. Come January, we are planning on breaking ground for a larger state-of-the-art police station headquarters that will carry us, larger state-of-the-art police station headquarters and regional dispatch center. This one will last us years into the future. Construction should take approximately 18 months to complete. This station will be able to house our entire force with room for growth and have many things our current location did not have at the time of its build. Because the police relocation, or with the police relocation, our current police station or building will be remodeled and repurposed for our city's community services staff that is growing too large for City Hall. This repurposed building will also have a public use space for our various arts groups, thereby creating a multi-use space for our city employees and the public at the same time. Now, next to our new police station in our beloved Heritage District neighborhood, and after many long years of waiting, the Estrella Gen Business Park and its first building is finally coming out of the ground. So excited for this. Despite setbacks from previous developers, customer market interest, a pandemic, supply chain problems, etc., we never stopped believing in the reality that this area would be dedicated to the new and expanding businesses of our city. Now, throughout our reimagining process, we deeply examined our city's assets, and the one that we felt was greatly underutilized and untapped was the U of A Agricultural Center. Did you know that in almost 40 years of ownership, university ownership, that only 2 college presidents have ever visited the site? And both have been in the last 5 years. Just a few months ago, President Robbins made a special visit at the request of his city and staff in the city in order to further explore the options of this facility. During the visit, we discussed major plans for what this magnificent piece of university property could one day become. As part of the reimagination of the property's uses, we discussed a potential satellite university campus, innovation centers, high-tech agriculture studies, and so much more. And while we're not quite there yet in the way of construction, President Robbins agrees and is very excited about our collective vision for the property and is actively working with us to make it a reality. We will keep you apprised on this progress. Now, every day I'm asked if we're going to go get industry here, well, and create jobs. The answer is short. It's yes. Of course we will. In fact, right now, your city is in competition with one or two others to win several billion-dollar corporations that are interested in locating here. Did you hear me? Billion-dollar corporations. While I cannot disclose who they are and what they want to do at this time, I can assure you that I have never been more excited in my entire life to see what innovative and ingenious companies and industries that are interested in you and your city. To further convey the magnitude of what we're talking about here, when they decide to choose Maricopa over the other locations, we would see somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.5 to $2 billion in actual investment here and the creation of thousands of local high-wage paying jobs. And folks, this is only the beginning. Already there are corporations that have said that if these companies come and they locate here, we're right behind them. This is the domino effect of success leading to other successes and businesses leading to other businesses locating here that I keep telling you about. This is how it works. Quickly, let me tell you a short story. Recently, a group called Land Advisors approached the city and shared with us a startling revelation. They pulled out a map that showed vacant land from West Phoenix to North Anthem to the East Valley and Queen Creek, all the way south until they reached Maricopa. What they shared with us was this, that every piece of available land in that entire area in the Phoenix metro area is either being held by the owner for another purpose, recently purchased for development, or is already under development. Then they stated this, that Maricopa is the next great frontier for companies looking to locate, as it really is the best option for available land and for future development. So get ready, Maricopa, as you squarely are in the sights of those who wish to expand their industries, corporations, and businesses. And they're coming here. Sometimes as we grow, we forget to talk about the areas we've become familiar with. We have heavily begun marketing our adventure corridor in the tourism space, something that almost nobody else has in the valley in this particular combination. One of the feathers in our cap is that in our adventure space is none other than the Apex Motorsports. So let's hear from Matt and Jason on how their location to Maricopa has become their golden ticket.
Two golden tickets claimed, endless opportunity remains. We're live with Councilmember Manfredi and Councilmember Learman to speak with our next lucky individual.
Good morning. We are here at Apex Motor Club, and I am here with Jason, Matt, and Councilman Manfredi, and we are here just to talk a little bit about their business. Why has opening a business in Maricopa been your golden ticket?
Well, it's been terrific. Matt and I scoured the entire Metro Phoenix area for the ideal location to put this amazing project we have. And the last place we looked was Maricopa, and we never had to look anywhere else. From our first meeting with Mayor Christian Price and explaining the project, he was 100% full support. And that continued on through planning and zoning and unanimous support with like this gentleman here through City Council, and it's been amazing ever since.
Awesome. And what kind of challenges have you had and how have you overcome them?
Most of our challenges have centered around the water piece. However, we've gotten over that with a lot of help from folks like Vince here too. And we're looking forward to the future at this point.
Awesome. And where do we go from here?
So we've been open for 2.5 years. We just constructed our first building that opened earlier this summer, and we're just embarking on our private garages, which are 48 private garage units that a member can own and just store their vehicles in. And we hope to start construction on that in later this year. And then we'll have a clubhouse, a second track, and there's probably in aggregate another, 300,000 square feet of vertical building. So we're really excited.
Thank you for having us out there this morning. It is gorgeous out here, and we're happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So not only is it Apex's golden ticket, it's ours. As I mentioned earlier, we have new businesses and industries that are growing and locating here now because the owners of these places are members of Jason and Matt's business. So golden ticket indeed. Do you see the domino effect? There is so much to this corridor, this adventure corridor, from Apex Motorsports to the Chen's world-class golf and dining experience at Southern Dunes. By the way, ranked 5th best golf course in the entire state of Arizona. You'll also find we have a world-class glider port and skydiving, all in this corridor. But wouldn't it be nice if we added even more to that lineup? If you remember at the beginning of this conversation, I told you that as a child, each summer I used to travel to a California beach to get out of the heat. Well, as you all know, we have an entire state between us and the ocean. So how would you feel if we brought the fun and the excitement of ocean waves to us?
Let's go surfing now, everybody's learning how. Come on a safari with me. Come on a safari with me. Early in the morning we'll be starting out. Some honeys will be coming along. We're loading up our woody with our boards inside and heading out singing our song. Come on baby, wait and see. Yes, I'm gonna take you surfing with me. Come along, surf baby, wait and see. Yeah, I'm gonna take you surfing with me. Let's go surfing now, everybody's learning how. Come on a safari with me.
Does anyone here like water sports? Of course you do. This is Arizona. We all love water. Water sports, water parks. So if you like those, then you're going to love this. A company we've been working with called Wave Tech Parks is currently in the due diligence phase of the final decision-making process to bring a surf park to Maricopa. Did you know that surfing is the second most popular aquatic sport behind swimming? Did you know that there are already 61,000 Arizona residents that already surf? Did you know that out of approximately 7 million Arizona residents, there are 1,640,000 who are interested in surfing, and there are 409,000 surfers who visit Arizona each year just as tourists. So, as you can see here, this is not going to be your run-of-the-mill water park. On the contrary, this is a surf park, and it's going to be something special. Not only is it going to be one of the only ones like it in the world with its superior technology, it is intended to bring people from all over the globe, from beginners to professionals alike, to ride the most realistic waves outside of an actual ocean. And according to Wave Tech designers, they are going to do it right. And I believe them. You see, the location here will have at least 2 surf lagoons that are the size of football fields in width alone. A surf school, wetsuit rentals, restaurants inside and out of the park, at least a 180-bed hotel, and other amenities for the visitors or even our locals to enjoy. Also, let's talk about those amenities. Amenities like a ropes course, indoor climbing walls, indoor skate parks, a BMX park, wellness spa, water slides, splash pad, lazy river, training pool, cabanas, concert lawn and stage, shopping and retail, infinity pools, swim-up bars, and so much more. There will also be stadium lights for night surfing, and it will be a safe and welcoming environment for people of all abilities. And in true surf culture fashion, there may even be discounts for the locals. So, if you haven't caught the vision quite yet of what this can do and be in Maricopa, let me show you what a much smaller location in Australia looks like. So let me see. Are you excited? You want to see a Wave Tech surf park here in Maricopa? That's what I want to hear. Now, I must admit that I never thought in all my days in Maricopa that I'd start seeing a lot more of these around town. Or even these, for that matter. But hey, you be you. But let me tell you what. I've got an everlasting gobstopper for the first one I do see. So, let me tell you this. You want to know the best part? I can promise you this. You will be warmer than surfing in the Pacific Ocean, and you definitely won't get eaten by sharks while surfing in Maricopa. Seriously, I can't wait to see all the local surf shops popping up, selling surfboard wax, wetsuits, rash guards, and of course surfboards. So you're probably saying to yourself right now, who'd have thought? Maricopa. This is exactly why we're reimagining everything, and we're not done yet. When we put our heads together to dream up other possibilities of creative and unique developments within the city, we look to land that the city itself can control. One of those places is the Copper Sky commercial area. Of course, this is one of the crown jewels of the city, and we would never do anything to take away from all that it provides. But what if we could do more with it and make it even better? After we started focusing on this area, we almost immediately had a very unique development opportunity brought before us for consideration. A fully integrated, multi-phase project that will essentially recreate the commercial portion of Copper Sky into what we could call the next ASU SkySong Innovation Center. This development will be called the District at Copper Sky. Currently proposed and moving forward here is a medical campus with a specialty ER hospital with approximately 50 to 120 beds, a surgery center including ambulatory surgery, a cath lab, skilled nursing, and medical offices to provide a variety of medical services. Because of the myriad of services provided in this new commercial district, another hotel with at least 125 beds will be needed to be constructed, along with a smart parking structure for approximately 280 cars and a 7-story luxury condominium building. With the integration of all of these projects, an innovation campus will be added to complement and to feed and perpetuate the ecosystem. Thus, part of the investment will include a behavioral health and sports psychology building and practice. It will have an innovation lab, a movie studio, makerspace, sports science, university research centers, dormitories, and additional residential and mixed-use facilities for coaches, students, and athletes and visitors, and even a possible hockey arena. With such a wide variety of development, then why not take it one step further and have one more potential feeder into the specialized campus? Maricopa's first foray into the professional sports world with a proposed world-class soccer academy, training facility, and stadium. A sports facility like this would attract some of the best developing players in the world and lead to so many more accompanying businesses. Along with the soccer and sports academy, the sports and science campus would serve professional teams, youth programs, medical services, such as orthopedics, pain management, sports psychology, and emergency room doctors. This developer has proposed a possible multi-use stadium, and we have been working collaboratively with our very own Maricopa resident, Peter Cockle, on this particular development. Peter is a professional soccer scout, and he already has multiple teams from around the world who are interested in making this training location, its amenities, and Maricopa their home away from home. Now, while many of these concepts will be built in phases, some phases like the ER hospital are close to coming out of the ground right now, while others are still conceptual, and we're working towards them. But all of this shows that as a city, we are reaching out to the development community and showing them that we as a city, or the city of Maricopa, is ready for unique and complex projects. We are willing to think outside the box and make a deal. And where one developer falters, there are always many others that are ready to go. We will move things through the side of our development and approval process just as fast as the business community can go. So whether some or all of this particular project happens in the near future, it just goes to show our public and the development community that more fantastic projects like it are on their way to Maricopa. Tonight, we have seen once again that Maricopa is a place where the dreams of the impossible can and become a reality. With hard work, dedication, perseverance, and grit, exists a place where the golden tickets of success are available to all those who want to be here. Won't you open your eyes with me to this world of pure imagination and literally view the incredible paradise that we are creating together right here in front of our very own eyes? Now, as I get ready to board this specialized contraption that we call the Mayor Vader, it's like an elevator but for mayors, so it gives me that bird's eye view of what Maricopa will continue to evolve into. Won't you climb aboard with me to witness our dreams actually become reality with a newly inspired confidence, expanded vision, and youthful conviction? In the parting words of Mr. Willy Wonka, let us not forget what happened to the boy or girl who ended up getting everything they always wanted. They lived happily ever after. Until next year, thank you for coming.